Hi, welcome to a quick Libra blockchain setup. So in this session, we are going to do a quick setup of a Libra blockchain. So before we go through the Libra blockchain setup, let's try to understand what exactly the Libra word stands for. So there are people who are unhappy and who have already raised concerns with naming this blockchain as Libra. So if you go to the Libra GitHub site and under the issues, you will see one issue naming bad naming. So the user was unhappy that this has been named as Libra because the British pound translates to Libra in Spanish, and the justification that the Facebook team has given is the one that have highlighted. They say that they were aware of this naming convention, but they still wanted to go because they were inspired by the name. So that's the background of the Libra. So now um, let me okay. So now let's try to understand the prerequisites of setting up the Libra blockchain. So as of today, right? So that is 21st June 2019. These are the prerequisites that you require to set up and run your blockchain. That is the Libra blockchain. So at this point in time, the Libra blockchain is only supported on Mac operating system and the Linux distros. Those are the Red Hat and Debian. So it's very unfortunate that they haven't released a Windows based sorry. And the next thing is that you need to have Git installed on your machine. Though it is not mandatory, you can download and still run that, but as a best practice, it's good that you have Git so that you can clone the Libra project and run the required scripts. If you are on the Mac operating system, you need to have homebrew. So I think that is pretty straightforward. And if you are on any of the Linux distros, depending upon the Linux distro you have, you can either download M or apt-get. So once we have these prerequisites set up, the next thing is for us to run a couple of scripts. Yes, you heard that correct, just a couple of scripts for us to run and get connected to the libra testnet. So here are the things. The first thing is you need to go to this particular repository and clone it. So let me head over to my terminal and let me come out of this. All right, let me come out of this as well. So currently I'm under my documents folder. So here I'm going to create a folder and I'll call this as libra-demo. All right, so let me navigate to libra-demo folder. So I am currently inside my folder name that I have created. So the very first thing that I have to do is that I need to clone this. So I'm just copying it and yep, so there the cloning goes. So it's not a huge file, so it should be downloaded pretty fast. If I say ls, and we need to change to that particular directory, and now if I say ls, you can see all the files and folders of the Libra. So it's pretty huge, guys. So we'll be going one by one in this series, so we'll not tackle everything in one video. So in this video session, we are going to only cover setting up and doing a couple of transactions and see whether those transactions are reflecting on the blockchain or not. All right. So the next thing is that we are already inside the Libra repo that we have downloaded, and we need to run this dev underscore setup.sh. Now, before we run, let's first see and understand what that file do. So it's dev underscore setup.sh. So if we go inside this, you can see that it is a little heavy dev setup file, but you can see here that we are trying to set up the package manager depending upon the operating system we have. So if it is Linux, Darwin, right, and then we are installing Rust, because I have to show you this. If we go to the Libra website, so let me go to this. So if we go to the GitHub repository of Libra, and if you look into the languages that have been used, Rust is the only go-to language that they have used. So 97.5% of the entire code that they have written is in Rust, and only 1.2% like either shell files or Docker files, something of that sort. So Rust is a must, and that's the reason why they have set it up in the dev underscore setup.sh, that is a shell file. And then we update the required things for the tool chain. So this is the command rust up update, and then we are adding a couple of components here. And then if it is apt-get, then we are just updating the apt-get to get the latest dependencies. And then we have cmake. So cmake helps us in the build process, so that is the next one. And go is required because we are using protobuf, which is the format that they are using for serializing and deserializing the data. So instead of going for simple JSON, right? And I have left a link also for the protocol buffers. You can go through that in the document. And as I mentioned, we have to have protobuf also installed. So that's it pretty much. There is nothing more complex to that. We have just a few things that needs to be installed. So let's run that particular script, and you just say why that you are willing to install all those dependencies. Now I have already installed previously, so that's why this was pretty fast. But for you, if you are running for the very first time, it might take a little bit of time, because it's not just downloading those, but it also have to add to your environment, right? Right. So these are all the things that we just discussed. So if you are facing any issues, there is a troubleshoot guide also. Don't worry, I'll leave this in the comment section, or in the description, so you can watch this video along with the document. So the next thing is running another shell file, and what this will do is that it will help us to connect to a remote testnet. So right now the testnet is hosted only on the Libra side. So this is the one that will help us run that. So let's quickly copy that. So let me clean up this, paste it, run it. Oops, I just forgot the dot. Right. So now it is building and running the client for us. And again, if you have already done this in the past, then this could be fairly fast, or else this might be taking a little bit of time. So meanwhile, let me show you some other things while this is compiling and building and connecting us to the testnet. So I got a few resources here. So as I mentioned, if you want to understand the story behind Facebook naming this blockchain as Libra, you can go to this issue, or you can even search online as well. And then there is a Libra forum. I have seen this is pretty awesome. It's already buzzing. It's not even 4 days in the market, right? And the community is pretty vibrant and it's buzzing. And if you go and look into the GitHub repository of Libra, it's more than 6,000, I think, stars, right? So let's confirm that. Yeah, 6,900. As I speak, there are more 900 people that have added. I think if I refresh, maybe we might have even touched 7,000. Okay, not exactly, but yeah, there you go. So about 800 plus people have already forked that. And then you have I won't say extensive documentation, but yes, it's a good documentation to start with. And then the GitHub link that I have just shown you. So let's wait for this to be completed. So you can see that it's still compiling and building. Once everything is done, what you need to see is in the prompt this libra percentile. Okay, so meanwhile this downloads, let me walk you through the forum as well. So this is the forum of libra. So you go to community.libra.org and they have pretty neat categories placed. So the announcements, so what they say is that the testnet they are going to update at every day around I think 11 a.m. PST, something like that. And in the announcements, yeah, you can see that this is only the announcement that they have. About 6 days back they have launched the testnet. Excuse me. And if we go to the consensus, so we can read about the consensus here. Oops. So the consensus component is responsible for ordering blocks of transactions and agreeing on the results of execution with other validators in the network. All right. And then the libra core, and move is a very interesting programming language that Facebook has adopted exclusively for this libra blockchain. And then they currently have the testnet and some general information. So if you go to testnet, so inside the testnet I was exploring a few things and I found this interesting explorer that um, Diskin has already developed. So let me open that testnet. So this is a not a testnet, basically this is a block explorer basically. So if you come over here you can see that this is a block explorer. If you are already aware of Etherscan or similar in blockchain in Bitcoin, so this is pretty similar to that. So if you click on the latest blocks, you will get the latest height of the block. So here you go, the latest transaction, it happened around 0:45:15, and you can see that this was the destination account, they minted it. Okay, someone minted a huge libra coins. And there is a concept of gas price and max gas as well. So if you are coming from Ethereum or a related blockchain, you should already be familiar with this. If not, we will be looking at these in the future videos. So let's see if everything is done. All right, so there you go. So we have set up and we are now connected. So if you get this particular prompt here, the libra percentile, which means that we are inside the shell, so which means that we are good. Let me clean up this one. If I type help, we'll be getting all the commands that we can run. So at this point in time we have three major commands that we can use. Account is to create account, list the total number of accounts. Query is that you can query the blockchain. Transfer, you can transfer from one account to another account. And then help, it's a man command, and if you want to quit, just issue this command quit and it will quit from this shell. So now, so if we say account list, it will say no user accounts because we haven't created any. So to create a new user account, just say account create, and it has created as a new account at this particular address. So you can refer either the address or the index. So basically this is the index. Now let's create another account. All right, so we have two accounts. Now if I say account space list, it will output both the accounts that we have created. So the sequence number is nothing but the transaction number. You can say something like a transaction, the number of transactions that happened on that particular account. So The next thing that we want to do is that we want to mint some coins, the libra coins. So for that, if you say account space help, you will get the commands inside account. So what are those that we can use along with account? So we can create, we can list, we can recover, we can write to a particular file the mnemonic, right? It's a password, kind of a password is secret, and then we can mint. So now let's try to mint, and the first one is the reference ID, or you can give the address. So for simplicity, I'll just say 0 and the number of coins that we want to mint. So I want to mint 200 coins. So now it has minted. Let's do the same for 1. All right, so there we go. So we have minted both. Now excuse me, let me clean the screen, and again let's say help, and then now we are going to transfer from the account 0 to account 1, and it's pretty straightforward. Just say transfer from which account address to which account address that you want to transfer, and how many tokens. So I just want to transfer 50 tokens. So there you go. So we were able to complete the transaction. So if you want to do, so here they say just run this command. Okay, so it's saying that error getting sequence. So let's it's interesting why this. All right, it's okay. Let's look into the list of accounts that we have. So here you can see that the sequence number has increased to 1 because we made a transaction on that. And now if I look into the account balance of the first account, okay, sorry, it's not account, it's query, because we want to query the first one. So when we say query balance, so it has reduced to 0, and if I do the same for the second account, it has increased to 250. So and let me quit out of this. So this is the command that you have to issue. So that was pretty simple way of setting up the Libra blockchain, and in the next video we are going to create our own testnet locally and interact with that testnet. And in the future series I'm going to create more videos on Move programming language. Right now there are so many limitations with Move programming language, but as the crypto, or as the blockchain Libra evolves more, I think we are going to see more features. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.